Hi everyone, welcome to the Whiteleyverse with me, Connor Whiteley, for another daily short story. Now, before I start today's story, please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and the engagement really helps the Whiteleyverse with the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you want to buy this short story and any of my other fiction, then they're available from all major ebook retailers and at your local bookstore and local library if you requested, and you can order paperback copies from Amazon. Now, here's today's short story. I hope you enjoyed just as much as I did writing it.
Don't rest in peace. Nevaeh had only ever been round the sick, dying and dead once before today. Even before Hell's Place, the former council estate on the outskirts of Canterbury, England, had gifted her the powers to trap people in time loops. There had just been no reason for her to be around the sick, until now. When she was a young child, her family, her sister and herself had visited her dying grandmother in a hospice. She remembered shuffling along the corridor, holding her mother's hand tight, as she was assaulted by the overwhelming aromas of urine, bleach and other toxic cleaning chemicals. And in the end, the entire place just stunk of death anyway. "You always put others ahead of yourself, my sweetest Ben," a woman said, straining every word. Nevaeh smiled as she went up the short, sickly yellow corridor towards the hospice room, where the sickly dying woman was. Maybe she was with her son, maybe she was saying goodbye to Ben, or maybe Ben was a nurse or doctor. It didn't really matter, but some things about hospices never changed. Nevaeh really didn't like the strong, choking hints of oranges, cloves and cranberries that clung to the air, as if their lives depended on it. And yet the awful aroma of death and urine still formed a horrible undertone. She had been half tempted to bring some floral perfume, in an effort to counteract the foul aromas of the hospice. Yet her mother had tried that, and it didn't work. There was no way to avoid the hospice aroma. Sadly, Nevaeh nodded to a few male nurses in their blue scrubs as she passed them. The nurses all looked the same to her, with their massive grey bags under their eyes, blue uniforms and cold sweat dripping down their heads. Everyone here was nervous, and maybe before Hell's Place had gifted her she might not have understood. Yet everyone knew the rumors about Hell's Place. The former council estate where people got murdered, disappeared, and other weird and twisted things happened every day. Perhaps all the nurses were just waiting for something twisted and weird to happen to one of their patients, or even themselves. That was why she was here. Nevaeh gently knocked on the sickly yellow door to the hospice room, and one of the most handsome men she had ever seen stood up, bowed, and gestured her to come inside. She couldn't help but stare at the handsome man for a few moments longer than she normally would have. His short blonde hair, model-like smile and clean-shaven face brought out his stunning emerald eyes. The young handsome man straightened his white polo shirt, brown shorts, and gestured her to take a seat in the wooden chair next to his dying relative. Nevaeh had no idea what to do. She hadn't expected the handsome man to be so kind and want her to take the chair next to his dying relative. The woman he might never get to say another word to. Incredible. "Please sit," the handsome man said. "I know you all work such long hours, minimal pay, and your job must be heartbreaking. I know it's just a chair, but please take a moment." Nevaeh's eyes widened. He thought she was a nurse. That was good. She could use that to her advantage, because she needed to convince him or the dying woman to enter a time loop. Then she could get time energy from all the years, things and activities they wouldn't do for the rest of their lives, as they were trapped in her loop. Instead of living their lives. Then she could send the time energy back to the love of her life, Archie, who the bastard Hell's Place had sent back to ancient Egypt when the two of them had created a time machine. All she wanted was to see the man she loved again. And for that to happen, he needed to spend the next 2,000 years traveling back to her. "Thank you," Nevaeh said, taking the wooden chair. A huge whiff of urine punched her in the face, and she had no idea how the handsome man could be so smiley and happy. His dying relative was in a plain, ugly room, without any character, features or furniture. The walls were just sickly yellow, The wooden chair was uncomfortable and lumpy as hell, and the entire room just stank of urine. It was awful. "You aren't my nurse," the dying woman said, forcing out every word. Nevaeh smiled as she watched the dying woman in her white hospice gown gasp for air, cough and splatter up whatever green liquid was in her throat. "I know she isn't your nurse, Mum," the handsome man said. "But this is Hell's Place, maybe she's here to save you." "More like kill me." Nevaeh grinned. At least the mum still had some fight left in her, and the handsome man wasn't completely clueless. "Are you Ben?" Nevaeh asked. "I am Nevaeh, and you are right. I am not here to kill your mum, I am not here to save you both, but I am from Hell's Place." She forced herself not to shake at that very idea. It was only a few months ago she was a university physics student, creating a time machine with the love of her life, and now she was creating time loops. She didn't want this life. She didn't choose it, but she shook away the silly thought. It really didn't matter what she wanted anymore. Not until Archie was home safely. "Excuse me," Ben said, poking his head into the corridor. Nevaeh shook her head and looked into the mum's cold, distant eyes. "What do you have, and how badly do you want to live forever in a new body?" she asked. The mum laughed, then coughed. "Terminal lung cancer. I don't want to live anymore. Could you and Edward do something?" Nevaeh shook her head. She was always surprised when mere mortals knew about Edward Hales, the 1800s lord who created Hell's Place and controlled all the nightmares that went on every day. She had no idea he existed before a few months ago. "Edward will not be helping you," Nevaeh said, "but I can create a time loop for you. You'll be trapped in it forever, and you can relive a single day over and over in a new body, a new environment, and with people you love." The mum shook her head and looked away from her. "What?" Nevaeh asked, standing up. "Why don't you like the sound of that? You're dying, you're sick, you're all alone." Nevaeh coughed at the overwhelming whiff of urine that punched her nose. The mum looked back at Nevaeh. "You don't get it, do you? I am never alone. I have Ben, and I have all my friends and family in death." Nevaeh's hands formed fists. Old, sick, dying people were meant to be easy to convince. All she wanted was some nice time energy, and the old stubborn bastards just wanted to be difficult about it. "Coffee?" Ben asked, coming down into the room, grinning and holding a mug of coffee out for her. Nevaeh said. It was all she could say. She wasn't used to this level of kindness, she didn't need to drink or eat, and she didn't know how to deal with Ben. She took the wonderfully warm mug of coffee, took a sip, and just enjoyed the sweet bitter tastes explode on her tongue. She had missed coffee a lot more than she ever wanted to admit. "What were you saying about time loops?" Ben asked. Nevaeh was impressed. He definitely had good hearing. "The bitch," the mum said, "wants me to become immortal, and she doesn't want me to rest in peace." Ben nodded. "If you want to trap her in a time loop, she won't go willingly. All her friends and family are dead. I'm her only family left, because I was adopted a few years back." "Don't you say you're adopted. You're my son. Whoever birthed you doesn't matter to me." Nevaeh felt a lump form in her throat. She really needed time energy, but she couldn't forcibly spilt them up. It was clear as day they both loved, treasured, and wanted each other to be happy. It was possible to form time loops without consent, but Nevaeh hated doing that. It felt like she was becoming a monster, an abuser, and she was coming less and less like the girl Archie loved whenever she did that. But to save him, she might have to. "What if," Nevaeh said, trying not to cough on the urine smell near the mum, "you could relive the day you first met?" Ben laughed. "I called her a few swear words. I didn't want to be in yet another home that didn't love me." The mum tried to sit up, but she only coughed louder and louder, and she collapsed onto the bed. Ben rushed, he shook her and shouted out her name. Nevaeh folded her arms. Ben shouted for his mum to say something, anything. Ben's eyes turned wet, his body started shaking, and Nevaeh just frowned. Ben really did love his mum, and it was clear she loved him back, and she needed time energy. Nevaeh went over to Ben. "Let me deal with this." Ben shot back. "No. Don't take us. We do not want to be in a time loop." Nevaeh backed away and watched as Ben rubbed his mum's hands, shouted for help and shouted for his mum to wake up. Nevaeh looked at the sickly yellow corridor, and she realized no one was coming, no one was going to check, and no one was going to interrupt her. She went behind Ben, gripped his and his mum's arm and closed her eyes. An icy coldness filled her body. She felt Ben struggle, shout and beg her to stop. She wasn't going to listen. Nevaeh tapped into Ben and his mum's minds. She forced her way into their memories, and she found the day that made them the happiest they had ever been. So she made it into 2 separate time loops, so both of them would get to live out their happiest day over and over again until the end of time. And she would get all of their time energy, from all the activities, years and happy moments they would never get to live out. Nevaeh opened her eyes. Ben and his mum were gone and she frowned. They really hadn't wanted to go, she hated that, but as the warmth of the time energy filled her, she forced away any doubt in her mind. She was doing this to save the man she loved, that was nothing, and it didn't matter the cost or consequences. She would save Archie no matter what. Or how much of herself she lost along the way.
Welcome back everyone, it's me again, Whiteley. So I really hope that you enjoyed today's story, because I flat out love writing, creating stories and sharing them with you. If you really enjoyed today's story, then please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and the engagement really helps the Whiteleyverse with the YouTube algorithms. And if you want to buy this short story or any of my other fiction, then they're available from all major ebook retailers, and you can get them from your local library if you requested, and you can order the paperback copies from Amazon, your local bookstore or local library if you request it. Lastly, if you want to support the channel on a one-off basis, then you can now buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/ConnorWhiteley. Also, if you know anyone who would enjoy today's story, then please share it with them. I'm always really grateful when you wonderful people help spread the word about the channel. So, thanks for watching the Whiteleyverse, and I'll see you again soon. Have a great day, everyone.